receive the least amount of rainfall, December, January, and February. Also, if you look at it, most of the fronts and stuff that we get, our weather patterns have changed, and so now our fronts and stuff are coming from the north, northwest, and most of these are dried out before they ever get here, so very little in the form of any kind of moisture or precip. So again, that's what it is. And then you have the lack of growing vegetation out here. Everything's dormant, it's dry, so humidities are lower. The fine fuels or the grasses, all the herbaceous material out here is dry, and so it's the perfect situation for burning. And then when you start putting in weather conditions, like we'll have this time of year of fronts that come through with extremely low humidities, high winds, and several day period of high winds, followed by a switching wind coming out of the opposite direction at a high velocity or high rate of speed. That sets up a perfect situation for wildfires. It also, if you're thinking about doing prescribed burns and stuff, it makes it a lot more difficult to try to get those accomplished because we're trying to hit those perfect weather conditions. So it's the winter months are definitely a difficult time for fire in both respects of wildfire and for prescribed fire.
For those people who are interested in that prescribed fire, you know, you kind of maybe have a little extra time on your hands, want to clean up your place, what do you recommend?
Well, I recommend, this is the time of year, especially with most people, a lot of people burn in those spring months, late winter, spring, February, March, April, coming up in here. Now is a really good time to start planning those burns, start getting those fire plans out, making sure we get them written up. We start preparing fire breaks, determining what's our burn unit going to be. Well, let's get on that downwind side and let's take our chainsaw and let's go out. We got extra time. Let's cut some cedar trees down, drag them well away from that edge. That way they're not a problem when we burn. So this is the time of year to prep and get stuff ready for those burns.
Now I know it's been a while since we've had a lot of snow, but say we do get some. Is that enough moisture then to get those conditions more favorable to actually burn this winter?
Again, snow can give us a little bit of moisture and stuff. A lot of times what I think a lot of people see when we get a little bit of snow, that's when people get really excited about burning brush piles. So it may be there when you light the pile off, but by the time that pile's still going to smolder for several days, some piles even smolder for weeks. That wind may come up, nobody's there, you'd burned that brush pile when the snow was there and everything was fine, but now the day later, there it goes, high winds hit, blows embers, and we're off to the races chasing that thing down, and that's not a good deal. So this time of year is definitely not the time to be burning brush piles. That's something to be left for late spring, early summer, that April, May, and June.
The OK Fire program, there's lots of tools that people can access, resources. Now may be a good time to study up on some things.
That's exactly right. So again, looking, when we do prescribed burns, planning prescribed burns, weather is what we're looking for. That's one of the main things about a prescribed burn. It's prescribed under certain conditions. And so those conditions, we're trying to figure out when are the best days, what's that forecast, and what tools we have. OK Fire's out there. It's got some great, near real-time weather data that we can use to look at, actual temperatures, wind speeds, relative humidities. The Fire Prescription Planner is in there to help you plan your burnout to see if this would be a good day to do that. So there's a lot of tools. So again, it would be a great time if you're not real familiar with it, get on it. Search around on it, play around with it, and figure out how to operate it a lot better. And then that way, whenever you do have burns this spring, that you're ready to roll.
Sounds good. John, thanks a lot. Good to see you. And for a link to the OK Fire program, just go to sunup.okstate.edu.